Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back. Rosie, how are we doing today?
I'm so good. Too good.
So today,
The best ever, honestly.
Today we'll be reviewing the movie you've long awaited.
I've long awaited.
Since 1988.
I haven't waited that long because I'm not that old, but almost. Almost that long.
Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Some guy named Tim Burton directed this one.
Love him.
I haven't really heard of him before this one.
Yeah. We love him in this house.
And then, obviously, coming back, we got Winona Ryder. We got
Love
Catherine
her.
O'Hara.
Absolutely.
Michael Keaton.
Love.
He's back.
We love.
73 years old.
I know his birthday was like 2 days after the release.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He does not look 73.
No, definitely not.
So kudos to him for aging very, very well.
They all did. Catherine O'Hara, stunning.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder, stunning. The whole cast.
Newbies. We got Jenna Ortega.
Yes.
We got Willem Dafoe. Danny DeVito makes an appearance.
Love.
So, fun cast, fun movie,
Totally.
fun director. Let's dive into it.
Okay.
We'll start with the good.
I'm so excited.
And just like in the first movie, the cinematography, the vibe that you get, obviously Tim Burton brings this vibe to every movie he's ever made, is just top notch.
For sure.
You know, whether you're in the real world or this one I liked a lot because it took place during fall. It was the Halloween season. It was Halloween night for most of the movie.
Right.
Whereas in the first one, you're kind of, I feel like, probably into summer, early fall.
You can't really tell the season.
But this one also, you know, when you go over to the other world, the blue-greens were very vibrant, just like they were in the first movie. The set design was fantastic, both real world and afterworld.
Absolutely.
Just not enough can be said, and I think that's something that usually draws me in with Tim Burton's movies is the set design and the way he has this own image that's his and nobody else's.
Yeah.
And it's just so good.
I love it.
But he does that once again. Acting was great.
Absolutely. If you have a stunning cast like this, that was the one thing, being a huge Beetlejuice lover, the one thing I wasn't nervous about.
Yeah.
I knew, I was unsure of the story. I didn't do a lot of deep diving because I didn't want to spoil it for myself because I have been waiting for this for a long, long time. But that was like the one thing I wasn't too nervous about was the acting. I knew the cast early on, so that was good. And obviously I've seen them in a bunch of stuff recently, so I knew that was going to be fine. So
Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice.
Of course.
Jenna Ortega, you know she's always going to be great. Willem Dafoe taking on a different character than normal for him.
I loved it.
A very quirky character. But, you know, he has that serious detective edge to him in the afterworld. But playing an actor who died and is now acting detective, it was just, it was quirky, it was fun. And every time he was on screen, you had a good laugh.
I love.
Danny DeVito, short-lived, but his unsettling almost, his makeup.
Yeah, I like that. I like when we throw in, reputable actors into a movie so big, just because you know it's going to get the views.
Yeah.
I seen, before we went, I seen that Tim Burton got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah. And Danny DeVito was there, and I was like, oh, they're probably just, like, pals. And I didn't even, like, cross my mind, and then I heard about a cameo, and, like, I was like, oh, maybe Danny DeVito, because he was there. Yeah. But he was in it for such a short amount of time, I was like, oh. But they're probably just pals, so. For sure. I love seeing Danny DeVito. You know, he's in one of my other top favorite movies of all time, so.
Yeah. And as far as, you know, the returning, Catherine O'Hara, I really like the relationship we get between Delia and Lydia in this one.
They've all grown.
You know, obviously years later, and they're now the more we get along, stepmom, stepdaughter. But I like the overtop Delia. Catherine O'Hara did a great job once again. And then Winona Ryder. I love Winona Ryder as the nervous mom. I think she embodied that role just like she embodies Joyce Byers in the Stranger Things series. So kind of, similar characters there when you really think about it. Just this one's more gothic with,
her
the crazy bangs and all of that. But I love the way that they move the story along. Lydia now does like a ghost hunting show. And obviously Jenna Ortega, her daughter, doesn't believe in ghosts because they can't see her dead dad.
Right.
Delia's now this world-renowned artist.
Thank God.
The movie starts with, they all come together because Charles dies in a shark attack. Which was a crazy way to get everybody together, but it works because it's Tim Burton and it's Beetlejuice. It works. And then you get to see Charles in the afterworld with the big shark bite out of it, and it just adds to the quirkiness, the funny, the comedy. But that's another thing that hit is this movie, for the most part, the comedy lands, and that's what you get with the first Beetlejuice movie. You get here again a lot of one-liners, especially from the Juice Man himself.
Yeah, of course.
I love when Willem Dafoe goes, Mr. Juice.
I love that. He said it on several occasions, and I think I giggled every time.
Yeah. But there was a lot of good comedy in this movie. It's, what you're going to get with Beetlejuice, and that's it's going to make you laugh, it's going to make you vibe, and you're going to feel good.
Definitely.
And the other good, a lot of this movie falls in the good category.
I would agree.
There are some things I do gripe about in this film, but I didn't expect it to be better than the first one.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when I was going through this movie, I was like, this isn't too far behind which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But a couple of good twists.
Definitely.
You got Jenna Ortega's character is falling for this boy that she meets after she crashes her bike into his treehouse, and then you find out he's dead, and then you find out another twist on how he died, and it's crazy. I didn't expect either of them, honestly.
No, not at all.
The twist of him being dead, I guess you probably could have seen. Because his parents didn't acknowledge him, so you could have caught on to that one. But the second twist, I was like, damn, they're going all in on this. You know?
I was not expecting, especially since he was younger. I wasn't sure they were gonna throw that M word out there like that.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised when they did. What is this? What's the movie rated? Do you know?
PG-13.
Is it? Okay. Because I was kind of surprised by some of the things that they said in there. But not Tim Burton. I don't care what he could. He literally could do anything.
You get one F-bomb, so that's why Beetlejuice's first F-bomb was okay. His second one was bleeped out.
Got you. Okay. Well, nonetheless. Yeah, I was really stunned by the little boyfriend twist. But I like that it was on Halloween.
Yeah.
That was really Halloween is big in our lives as a couple, so that, I don't know, just hit home, and I liked that it was such a central moment between the two of them, and then they started floating, and then she realized, and it's Halloween night, and he didn't want to leave his room, but that's because he couldn't, because it's not real.
Well, that, and if you leave where you die, the sandworm will get you.
Yeah, exactly, so.
I
like that. I like that twist. I liked all of the other ones too.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the most prominent.
What else really stuck out to you? We get a great score once again. It's very similar to the score we got in '88. A lot of callbacks in the sense, you got the same. Yeah. Bum, 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 all of that. But
one of my favorite things my favorite things I liked was the look of the afterworld.
Yes. It definitely was better because in the first one it's very limited. We see the lobby a lot. This one we really get to dive into the afterworld.
Yeah, I just like that it kept the same. It has the same look, obviously, because why wouldn't it change? But the first scene we got there, I just sat straight up in my chair because I was like, oh, here we go, because this is. I knew we were gonna see Beetlejuice. So like you mentioned, the set design and everything was fabulous. One of my other favorite things was seeing the house and all the little nods to the first one that they mentioned. especially between Lydia and Delia.
Yeah.
About like, well, I'm not a gothic teenage girl anymore or something like that. So I don't know. I just like the little tidbits thrown in there for the first one. It definitely is, because some sequels you don't have to see the first one to understand the sequel, but this is definitely one where you have to see the first one.
Yeah.
And it's been 35 years and you haven't seen it, so what are you doing? There's that. That would be
36 years.
36. Yeah. That's right. So, what do you really? Come on now.
See, something, when you're talking about the afterworld, like, obviously we get to see the lobby again where you take a number and all of that. And it's hilarious as always. But, we got Beetlejuice's call center. We've got the detective Willem Dafoe's office. We've got the hallways that Danny DeVito's cleaning. And that's when I like the introduction of Dolores, Beetlejuice's ex-wife from the Plague times. Yes. Getting her introduction and her putting herself back together because she was axed to death by Beetlejuice.
Right.
All of that was just so cool. We get, the Soul Train. We just get so much more depth in the afterworld, and I thought that was really cool. I agree. You definitely need to watch the first one before watching this one. Seeing the house was great. Obviously, seeing a little bit of a callback to the model and him living in the model a little bit. That was awesome.
Oh, I love that.
You see it in the trailer, but you get the juices loose. When he's called by Lydia for the first time. And it's
I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
It is. It's one of those ones that, like, you're just smiling because you feel like you're watching the first one for the first time again, but it's a brand new one, to you.
Yeah. I felt like a little girl sitting there with my Beetlejuice popcorn bucket and my Beetlejuice cup and my Beetlejuice Afterlife cake from Crumble.
Yeah.
And with my black and white striped pants on and... so excited. So Beetlejuice has meant a lot to me in my life just because it's really memorable for me. So, I don't know.
So, do you have anything else in the good?
I mean, I could go on, but we must.
Okay.
We must persevere.
We'll move on to the meh. I really only have one meh, and I guess I'd put the payoff for Dolores. This movie starts with Dolores being put back together, basically, and it almost introduces her as this big bad because she just wipes through DeVito's character. And
several others.
Yeah. And
she's
so,
a soul sucker.
You're really thinking, like, okay, she's the big bad, but there wasn't much payoff for her. I liked her character a lot, so that's why I put it in the meh. But the payoff would probably be more on the bad, but I'm just going to put the Dolores storyline in the meh.
For sure.
Because there's good to it, there's bad to it.
Yeah.
It fits right here. I wish things were done differently with Dolores' character.
Yeah. I definitely think it would have been okay without her.
Yeah.
I also think that it was okay with her. But so, it's kind of in the middle for me. I would agree with what you're saying 100%. Could we do without it? Absolutely. Is it okay that it's in there? Absolutely. But I think we could have used a little bit more.
It just makes it a little messy.
Yeah.
And I put that in the med too.
Because she didn't...
It gets messy.
She didn't really get... I mean, Beetlejuice is now gone, but so I guess she did get what she wanted, but, she didn't have anything to do about that.
Yeah.
So, because she didn't really suck his soul, so...
Yeah. That's really it for the meh.
Honestly,
everything else I have is in the bad. It's not a lot.
No.
Honestly,
same. I don't think I really have anything else in the meh.
Okay.
Other thing, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hop to the bad, and it's where I'd put the ending. I think that, this is Dolores' payoff. The sandworm coming in and killing her and Rory was really quick. There was no battle. There was no fight. The wedding and Beetlejuice's serenade and all of that, I didn't like that at all. And then the loophole of drawing the door to get the sandworm too, and then the loophole of, oh, you've brought an alive person beyond, so it breaks your contract and Beetlejuice dies. It was just, they built up so much in the first two acts that I liked. And the third act was just messy and rushed. And I still like this movie a good bit. It's just, when you are really vibing with two acts and all the build-up just to be let down, it's it hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't really do a deep dive on the movie beforehand. I watched the trailers and knew who the cast was, but I did not, like, one day I was just scrolling through Facebook and the early, like, critics Rotten Tomatoes score was out, and I seen, like, whoever posted it, and it said Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, and it had a tomato next to it, and I scrolled so quick, because I didn't want the critics score to affect how I enjoy the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it would have, but I just didn't want to know what they thought of it, because I would consider myself a pretty tough critic when it comes to a movie, so I didn't want to know what they thought, actual critics that do that for a living. I had no idea where it was going to go.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the ending was going to be like. I had really no idea about the whole preface about the whole movie. So, seeing the ending and how it happened was a little disappointing to me, being a pretty elaborate, I would call myself, Beetlejuice fan. I didn't knock a ton of points for me down the ending.
It didn't kill the movie for me.
No.
It felt very similar to the first movie in the sense that the wedding and you know, the sandworm and everything, but it just felt rushed, messy, no payoff with Dolores.
I honestly would.
I did like the payoff we get with the boyfriend in the sense that Beetlejuice is stamping and he fake stamps it and all that. But
I would not. So I'm not a big fan of a real long movie. Just because I can't sit there and watch it for that long. But honestly, this is a movie that could have maybe used an extra 15, 20 minutes just to maybe
enhance the
take
ending.
everything from the ending and maybe spread it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So we could. There was
or just
a lot.
Take the song out.
Honestly, yeah, maybe.
But
because then you would have more room. Because that was one thing that I like a musical. We've seen Beetlejuice on Broadway twice. So
I think it's because they did it twice.
What do you mean?
When he's in the model and what was he say? I can be a hero.
Well, that was real short.
That
was okay. Yes.
And then they ran back another serenade, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was just long, and drawn out, I believe. So maybe if we would have shortened that, we could have used that time other places. Yeah. Being a big musical gal, I still didn't enjoy it. Because I was hoping that the cops from the afterlife were going to bust in and screw the serenade. Yeah. Way sooner than they did, because I was like, okay, they have to be like busting through the windows and the doors anytime now. Yeah. And then they finally did, and I was like, oh my god, it's been like 5 minutes, and we're still listening to him serenade. Yeah. Which is, so that would be my only major gripe. Is the ending.
Specifically the wedding scene, because there are elements of the ending I enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed that we get...
The song was just not good either.
I like that we get Delia and Charles back together at the Soul Train.
Of course.
I like that,
her death was interesting.
I like the closed book on the relationship between Lydia, her daughter, and her husband, and when we get a little, goodbye in the afterworld. So there are elements of that third act and the ending that make you happy. Yeah. But just the whole wedding and Dolores payoff was very lackluster for me.
For sure. But honestly, I don't really have much else in the bad. I didn't really, at the beginning, like Rory, Lydia's love connection.
Didn't like him proposing at a funeral.
I think it was very on brand for him, though.
That's fair.
I feel like he's a very impulsive guy. Yeah. So that was very on brand for him. I didn't like it either. But it fits his character. Yeah. I think the most. So I think it fit. Yeah. Knowing him as a character. But honestly, I don't really have anything else in the bad.
Okay. So hop to our final thoughts and ratings.
Sad I have something in the bad. Let's just say that. But I do, which is unfortunate. But like I said, it didn't really knock down a whole ton of points.
So hop to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Beetlejuice, and what do you give it out of 10?
I am glad that we got to see it. Mm-hmm. I am glad that I can now go watch it again. I am excited to, as it becomes, it's only been out for a short amount of time. Yeah. So I'm excited for, other friends of ours and other people to see it and to hear their reactions to see how similar they are to ours. But being as a Beetlejuice fan as I am, this really just tied the knot on everything, and I tend to, get all my Beetlejuice stuff out later into the year about this time. So I hope not everyone thinks that I just like Beetlejuice because the second one came out, like a lot of people do. But I have was yelled at in the middle of the movie store growing up for giving that movie too many times. So now we own it on every physical copy you can get.
Yeah, we have it on VHS, Blu-ray, DVD.
Yeah.
Just gotta get it on Laserdisc and 4K.
I'm sure we can make that happen. So it was really sentimental to me to be able to watch it again. Be like a little kid seeing it for the first time. So that's all I got to say.
What do you give it out of 10?
Unfortunately, just to preface, if you guys don't know already, the first movie is Will You Call Things That You Enjoy a Perfect Movie? And Beetlejuice, the first one, is a perfect movie to me.
No, I said...
So, I know. I'm saying
okay.
The first one is perfect. And I am unfortunate to say that the second one is not perfect to me.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give Beetlejuice an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I wish it was a 10.
I think there's a difference between a 10 out of 10 and a perfect movie.
Well, I think it's both.
So you quoted me wrong.
I'm sorry.
Like a 10 out of 10 can be a perfect movie. Mm-hmm. A 10 out of 10 can also just be a top echelon movie.
Well, the first one...
But a perfect movie has to be a 10 out of 10.
Yes. The first one for me is a 10 out of 10 and perfect.
But I have probably 50 plus 10 out of 10s, but realistically I only have 5 to 10 perfect movies, probably closer to 5.
The first one's a perfect 10 out of 10, so...
For me, I'm going to go 7.5.
Okay.
I'd put the first one at an 8.5, 9.
Okay.
And this one was on par with it until that third act, and
for sure.
it probably took a point off for me. I was probably sitting at an 8.5, and that third act bumps it down to that 7.5.
Yeah.
A better ending. This one's right on par with the first one for me. But unfortunately, we didn't get that great ending, and the original will hold the crown until we get Beetlejuice.
I think it would
36 years.
Somebody asked me if I thought that they would do another
2060. One. We'll be 61.
Hey, and I'll be there on the opening day. Somebody asked me if I thought that they were coming out with a third one, and I was like, well, I haven't. That was before we went and seen it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
They wouldn't wait 36 years.
No, I don't think so either.
If they're doing a third one, it's going to be fairly soon because Michael Keaton's 73 and they're not doing one without him.
No. And they were like, well, it would make sense because they say Beetlejuice 3 times.
Yeah. I think this one ended in a good spot not to do another one, though.
I think so, too. I'm not sure where they would go after, and please, God, Tim Burton, if you ever see this, just don't do it.
Yeah.
I am completely satisfied with it ending here, and we can all just move on with our lives.
As somebody...
It's always the third one
that
when you would think it doesn't need an ending, or something comes just... And it's so random, and it has nothing to do with either of them, and it's just going to ruin all of it for me. So let's just not.
Somebody who is not a fan of how many animated movies are getting live-action movies, I would rather get a Corpse Bride live-action movie than a third Beetlejuice movie.
Honestly...
So, take that with what you want, Tim.
Yeah.
If we're on a first-name basis.
For sure. Mr. Burton.
That'll do it for Beetlejuice. Rosie, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
Of course. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out Beetlejuice. It's been 36 years. Why wait any longer? And we will talk to you all soon.
Peace and love.